Students, welcome to my today's topic. Today we will be discussing on database management system. Okay, DBMS. So here the important term is information and data. We know information is an important factor to manage the routine activities of every individual. Okay, from the child to an old man. So information is needed for various important matters such as air travel schedules, railway schedules, details of customer and clients, telephone numbers, and so on. Okay. So here the first term is data. First term is data. So what is data? Data is actually the raw and unprocessed form of facts and figures. Okay, so it is usually meaningless. For example, if you say 3 or if you say Dipti, so all these are considered as data. But when we interpret this data as Dipti has obtained marks in English, that is 90, Dipti has obtained 90 marks in English, then it is a meaningful data. Okay, so information is the data which has been processed and has meaning and easily interpreted. So it is essential to organize this available data in such a way that it can be altered, stored and retrieved easily. Okay, so we can do this with the help of database. So in this chapter we will learn about the basic concepts of database that will enable us to cultivate a better understanding of DBMS and RDBMS. DBMS means database management system and RDBMS means relational database management system. Okay, so at first we will be discussing about database. Actually, database is a collection of data which is stored in a systematic manner in the form of tables so that we can retrieve, manipulate the information quickly and efficiently from a large set of data. Okay, so a database consists of one or more tables. So a table can hold the information in the form of rows and columns. As you see here it is the table, student table. Okay, so here all the information are stored in the form of rows and columns. Okay, so in database management system, rows are referred to as records. All these are the rows, all these are the rows. So all these rows are known as the or referred as records. So a record is a set of related information. A record is basically a set of related information that belongs to a particular object. Okay, for example, in this table we can see it is the students table. The data of related fields of a student is called a record here. Okay, and a single record is known as the tuple, and a single record is also known as the tuple. Okay, next one is columns. We know these are the columns. So in database management system, columns are referred to as fields, and a field describes specific property of a record. That is why it is also known as the attribute. It is also known as the attribute. Okay, attribute. So you can say that an attribute is a piece of information about an object. Okay, so here you can see that roll number is an attribute or field in the students table. So all these are the attributes or the columns in this table. Okay, now what is data? Already we have learned a set of characters that represents a valid value is known as data. Okay, so all these are the data here in the cell. Whatever we have entered, all these are the data. Okay. So this was about database rows, columns, information and data. Now from time to time we can make changes in our database to keep it updated, such as adding new contacts, deleting old contacts, editing the existing ones if there is any change, and so on. So all these operations that we perform, such as adding, deleting, editing, sorting, are also known as the functions of database. So a database is basically used by developers, administrators and end users. Developers design and develop a database. Administrators keep track on database and check authorization to provide access to the users, and at last it is end users. Okay, so end users are the group of people who really use the database. Suppose in your school, teachers and students are the end users, as they use the database every day. Okay, so database management system is a computerized record keeping system or software that enables us to create, store, modify and extract information from a database. Okay, that is the DBMS. So it allows different user, application, program to access the same database concurrently. So the main function of DBMS is to provide the users with efficient and reliable method of data storage, modification and retrieval. Okay, so basically we can say it saves time, efforts and reduces chances of errors in the database. Okay, so data handling using database management system becomes fast and efficient. So data can be organized into two types. One is flat file, another one is relational. In flat file, data is stored in a single table with the plain text format, and in relational, data is stored in multiple tables and can be accessed by establishing a relationship between the tables by using a common field. Okay, that's why it is known as the relational. We have to link the tables with a common field. Okay, so this type of data is suitable for medium to large amount of data. Next is the advantages of database management system. First of all, it is enforcement of data standards that holds data in a standard format. Okay, next one is data availability. So the data of database can be available anytime, anywhere. Okay, next one is reduced data redundancy. Data redundancy occurs when same piece of data is duplicated unnecessarily multiple times in a database. Okay, so DBMS reduces this type of redundancy. Okay, next one is minimized data inconsistency. So when the redundancy is not controlled, it leads to data inconsistency. So it occurs when the same data exists in different formats in multiple tables. Okay, suppose for example, in the hospital database, if you change address of a patient in a table and do not update the same address in other related tables, then it results in inaccurate information retrieval of the patient. Okay, so we have to update all the tables where the address is mentioned. Okay, next is data concurrency. Data concurrency means many users can access and modify the shared data at the same time without violating the data inconsistency. Okay, so to understand the concept of it, let us consider an example. Suppose two people visit an electronic booking counter to purchase a train ticket for the same destination at the same time. However, the train has only one seat left. Okay, so without the feature of concurrency control, it might happen that both passengers could end up booking the ticket for the same seat. However, with concurrency control, the database would not allow this process to execute. Okay, here both the passengers would be able to access the train seating database, but concurrency control would preserve data accuracy and allows only one person to buy the ticket of the seat at the time. Okay, it is the data concurrency. Next one is ensure data security. A database may contain confidential data which needs to be protected from any unauthorized access. So database management system provides security to sensitive data by performing authorization checks and enforcing selective access to the users. Okay. Next one is backup and recovery management. There are various strategies and procedures that are used to protect databases against data loss and the process of reconstructing the data in case of hard disk crash. Okay, so in case of a threat to database like power failure or network failure, the recovery management feature recovers the database, and backup management takes the backup of the database in it. Okay, so backup management refers to the data safety and integrity, like backing up all the documents files on a disk. Okay, so all these are the advantages of DBMS. Next one is database management system, that means types of database management system. So there are different types of database management system. Here you can see one is relational database management system, RDBMS. Next is hierarchical database management system. Next one is network database management system, and last it is object oriented database management system. Okay, so in this class we will be learning about RDBMS or relational database management system. Now we are discussing about database servers. What are database servers? Actually, the computers that store the data in a database which can be accessed through DBMS and related software are known as the database servers. So the database servers are based on the client server architecture, where the user send their request to the server through an interface known as the front end, and another server known as the backend processes the request and provides the required data to the users. Okay, got it? Now we will be learning about RDBMS. RDBMS or relational database management system is a type of DBMS software that uses the relational database RDB model for this database. So it enables the users to store data in several tables. It has the capability to retrieve data from the different related tables conveniently to produce the answers to questions that cannot be answered from individual tables alone. Okay, so these tables are related to one another in such a way that whenever there is a need, the data can be joined by establishing relationship between tables, and information can be accessed from them at once. Okay, got it? So DBMS, basically RDBMS, provides the features to create, update and administer a relational database. It makes easy to search and retrieve data within database and ensures data integrity is maintained. Okay, some examples of RDMS are Oracle, MS Access, MySQL, MS SQL. Okay. Next one we'll be learning about the concept of keys. At first it is primary key. A key in database plays an important role. It is used for identifying unique records from a table. Also, it establishes a relationship among the tables. Okay, so let us understand the use of keys. At first, it is primary key. A primary key is a set of one or more fields that uniquely identifies each record in a table. It does not contain any duplicate data. Okay, so a table can have only one primary key. The value in this primary key field is different for every tuple and thus help it to uniquely identify the records. Okay, suppose here we are having this table, teachers info table. So in the following table there are 4 columns: teacher ID, teacher name, teacher address, school name. Okay, out of these fields, one or more than one fields that uniquely identifies the records can be a primary key. Here teacher ID is the primary key, as each teacher has a unique ID in the table. Okay, however, the other field alone cannot be a primary key, as teacher's name may be same, teacher's address may be same, school name may be same. Here you can see. Okay, that means primary key field should be unique. Okay, that means 2 rows cannot have the same value in the primary key field. So school name cannot be a primary field. Okay, teacher's address also cannot be the primary field, and also teacher's name. Okay, next is the primary key field cannot be null. That means every row must have value. And the value in primary key field can never be modified or updated if any foreign key refers to that primary key. Understand? Okay, so here in this table, teacher ID acts as a primary key, as it identifies the each record uniquely. So if we talk about teacher ID 1011, it gives us teacher's name Paru, teacher address Chandigarh, school name Morning Public School. Okay, so for every teacher ID we are having the different teacher name, teacher address and school name. So that means teacher ID here acts as a primary key. But if we take school name as the primary key, then if you talk about Rosemary School, it cannot identify uniquely, because Rosemary School refers to Ramit, the teacher, and also Yogita. Okay, got it? And we know primary key field should be unique. Okay, 2 rows cannot have the same value. Got it? Next one we will be learning about composite primary key. A composite key or composite primary key refers to a combination of 2 or more attributes, that means fields, that uniquely identify the records in a table. It may be candidate key or primary key. Now here it is the table, sales table, you can see here. Here column customer order ID alone cannot become a primary key, as many products can be purchased by the same customer. Here you can see, for customer ID order ID 001, we are having the first value product ID P001 and product count 2, and also for the same value customer order ID 001, we are having different product ID, different product count. So we know primary key should be unique. Okay, two rows cannot have the same value. So here we cannot use customer ID alone as the primary key. But if we take customer ID and product ID as the primary key, then the records can be retrieved uniquely by using both of the fields. Here if you see the customer ID 001, product ID P001, then we will have the value 2 only. That means using both of these we can uniquely identify the record. For customer ID 001, product ID P001, we are having product count 2, and also for customer order ID 001, product ID P003, it is 4. So it can uniquely identified. So we can say that column product ID cannot become a primary key, as the same product can be purchased by the different users, that means customers. So composite key here is customer order ID and product ID, as records can be retrieved uniquely by using both of these fields. Okay, so here customer ID and product ID is the composite primary key. Okay, next one we will be learning about foreign key. Look at the table very much. Here we are having two tables. At first it is students table and next is students percentage table. Okay, so a foreign key is a field or set of fields that is used to establish a relation between the tables, two tables. In other words, we can say that it consists of one or more fields whose value matches with a primary key in another table. Okay, so basically a foreign key in one table is used to be pointed as primary key in another table. Okay, so here you can see that for the first table, students table, roll number is the primary key, and in the next table, that means students percentage table, roll number also be there. So roll number acts primary key in the first table and it acts as the foreign key in the next table. Okay, so it acts as a cross reference between the tables, you can say. So here roll number field of the students percentage table points to the roll number field in the students table. Hence roll number field is the primary key in the students table and foreign key in the students percentage table. Okay, got it? That means roll number links these two tables because it is in the both of the tables, so makes a relationship between these two tables. Okay, next we will be learning about candidate key. Here you can see, so a table might have one or more fields that may uniquely identify the records or tuples. Such fields are called candidate keys as they are eligible to become a primary key. So a table can have more than one candidate key. Here you can see the example. If you look at here, student ID is the primary key as it uniquely identifies each records, and other key, that means roll number and email, are the alternate key, and all these are the candidate key. So basically candidate key are the fields that may uniquely identify the records or tuples. Okay, and a table can have more than one candidate key. Okay, so student ID, roll number and email. All these three columns can uniquely identify the record, that is the first name, last name. Okay, got it? Okay, but first name and last name cannot be the candidate key, because first name may be the same, last name may be the same. Okay, next we will be learning about data types. So Microsoft Access is the most popular and powerful relational database management system. Also it is an integral part of MS Office suite. Okay, so it can manipulate a large volume of data efficiently, and it can organize data in the form of tables and provides the facility to create relationship between them using the common fields. So some features are, it can provide the facility to break large information into small parts to access it easily. Data redundancy is reduced. Okay, it minimizes the data inconsistency. It increases the efficiency, speed. Also it facilitates the sharing of data. Okay, so all these are the features of Microsoft Access. Now we will be learning about some database objects. Already we have learned about tables, then fields, records, data, then queries and forms and reports. Okay, so there are four main objects in any database. Number one is tables, number two is queries, number three is forms, number four is reports. Okay, so these are the four main objects in any database: tables, queries, forms and reports. Already we have learned about tables and the elements of tables, that are fields, records, data. Queries means to ask questions from the database to retrieve records or data based on a certain criteria. Okay, they are also used to perform actions like insertion, deletion, updation. Okay, depending upon the criteria. Next one is forms. Forms has an attractive interface that accepts data from the user and inserts the data in the corresponding table or query. Okay, and reports are used to display the selected data in a printable format. Okay, so this was the basically about the database objects.